Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monday, June 8th Maplewood City Council meeting. I would encourage anyone who is watching this on replay to take a look at the previous hour. We had a workshop where we went over our 2025 report on our police department. And I have to commend our police department. We are a data-driven department, and we really focus on transparency. So they break everything down in terms of use of force and discretionary arrests, non-discretionary arrests, and we report that out to the community. And it is an excellent report. We had the council, we had a very good discussion with Lieutenant Dugas, who presented tonight, but I would encourage everyone to take a look at it. In the same vein, talking about police, council members, I wanted to share with you, I had a meeting with Roots Wellness Center, and some of you have already heard about this. We've already talked about the Appropriate Response Initiative. It is a pilot project with Ramsey County, and it is, Roots Wellness is a nonprofit provider, and they are launching a pilot test program here in Maplewood on June 22nd, so only a couple of weeks. But the goal is to connect residents with resources for non-emergency police calls. So a couple of things. What they won't do is they will not be going to crime in progress calls. They won't be going to any weapon calls, and they won't be going to any medical calls. Those are our police and fire EMS responsibilities. They will be assisting with calls where de-escalation is the issue, where there may be necessary outreach or follow-up that has to happen. There will be soon, or there are 4 responders that are going to be part of this test project, and soon there will be 5. They're going to be working 2 different shifts, Monday through Friday. The A shift is 9 to 5:30, and the B shift is 12 to 8:30, and they will be dispatched to calls that do not require police and or fire EMS intervention. One of the things that I did talk to them about, because we are such a data-driven city, is that we need to have, I mean, how are we going to evaluate this program unless we get data, unless we find out the types of calls that they're going to? Is this effective? And so we will be getting periodic reports, and I'm sure that Chief Beardeman will help forward those on to the council. I think one of their primary focuses will be to connect individuals that where they're responding to different types of social service needs, like shelter or food shelves, a new clinic that is a county clinic that's opening up here on Beam Avenue. I connected them with community dental, and so it is, I think, it goes along with the type of public safety department that we have, that this is something new. It might benefit our residents, and it certainly might help in terms of providing an alternative service rather than everything being a police response. And so we're trying it out. Right now it goes, I believe, until the end of the year, but you will probably be hearing about it soon because it starts June 22nd, which is, like I said, it's a very creative solution to see if this is something that can benefit everybody. So with that, let us start with our Pledge of Allegiance tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. City Clerk Sint, would you do the roll call for us?
Councilmember Lee.
Present.
Councilmember Villavicencio.
Here.
Councilmember Cave.
Here.
Councilmember Juniman.
Here.
Mayor Abrams.
I'm here as well. Thank you very much. Council members, is there a motion to approve our agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Cave, seconded by Juniman. The motion to approve our agenda. Is there any further discussion? Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. Can I add Asian Street Food Night Market for council presentation?
Okay. Anyone else? All right. With that, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Our agenda is approved. Next, we have our minutes for the May 26, 2026 City Council meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
I move approval.
Second.
Moved by Juniman, seconded by Cave, the motion to approve our agenda for May 26, 2026. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain?
Councilmember Lee is going to abstain. Moving on to appointments and presentations, administrative presentations. Mr. Sable, this is your topic.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. As you know, we use this time to talk about events going on in the community, and the city of Maplewood is a busy place this summer for community festivals and gatherings. But in terms of the city council, later today, you are going to see an item before you to schedule a special meeting for the 2027 budget discussion. Part of this is to give you some context in terms of the broader 5-year history of the departmental budgets, and we'll talk through what that means. And it also gives us kind of an early start based on calendars. If we don't do it now, we wouldn't do it until the end of July, and we just felt like that was too far out. And later in June, we're going to be appointing our primary election judges and ballot board, and also having a public hearing on our business subsidy policy, which is really the continuation of the work of the EDA in terms of bringing that forward along. And so really exciting things. I just want to point out, we do have Celebrate Summer on July 8th at Afton Heights Park from 5:30 to 7:30. We follow up with Fishing with Friends at Spoon Lake on July 15th. But before that is July 4th. America is celebrating its 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And one of the items the council said is, well, what are we going to do in Maplewood? And we'll be competing with lots of other communities holding some celebrations. And so Joe Sheeran and Mike Darrow were creative in their ideas. And we are going to promote and propose to the city council that we do a Celebrating America 250 with 250 acts of neighborliness. That starting on July 4th, we ask members in the community to do something nice and give back into their community, to volunteer. It could be as simple as helping a neighbor carry their groceries, or picking up litter on the evening walk, or checking in on an older resident. And we would ask people to send in sort of a photograph and a one-sentence descriptor or a short video clip that said, here's ways I'm working to make my own community better. We would gather all of those at maplewoodmn.gov/250. And then what we would encourage is scout groups and Lions clubs and small businesses and senior communities and faith communities to encourage and promote neighborliness and connection within Maplewood. It dovetails really nicely with the Just Serve resolution that you did at the last council meeting. It also connects with the broader conversation we had post Operation Metro Surge, where people were looking to give back into the community. So with your permission, Mayor and Council, we will start getting to work on pulling this thing together in the next 3.5 weeks. But I am confident that we have the staff capacity to make that, and it's a really good way to remind people that this is how America works. You volunteer, you raise your hand, you step forward, and you do some small things that work and to make the community better. And so looking for some general head nodding that this is a clever idea and we can run with it.
I think it's a wonderful idea, and I think you're right. It is a logical extension of the fact that we just became a Just Serve city, and it follows through on, I think, what we recognized as a need when we had the neighborhood conversations post-Metro Surge. So I really think it's a wonderful idea. I do know, because in my conversations with you, we're also going to be doing some banners and kinds of things. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and council members. As part of the national celebration, so we are going to hang a banner off of the community center. We're going to change the monument sign, the digital signage outside the Maplewood Community Center. And then we also have access to a billboard off of Highway 36, where we get a certain number of minutes on the digital billboard, and we will also convert that in there. So, and we're also going to order a sizable number of flags. I don't know how many, but we'll put them out in community parks just to maybe sort of add a little bit of color and flair to the Celebrate 250 celebration.
Thank you, and thank you to Joe Sheeran and to Mr. Darrow, too, for coming up with, I think, a really wonderful way to celebrate our country's 250th birthday. So thank you for that. Anything else? No. Okay, moving on to council presentations. Council Member Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to take a quick minute to highlight the Asian Street Food Night Market, because I had a chance to stop over there this past weekend. It was shared with me by one of the organizers this morning that they estimate about 40,000 people that attended the event over the last 3 days, over the weekend. In the last 28 days, 1.4 million folks viewed it on social media, so a lot of people saw the event. And then the engagement in general, 68,000 engagements on social media. So I missed the hype of everything on Saturday. I had a wedding I had to attend. I almost skipped the wedding for this event. But I heard that on Saturday they had 10 to 20 people in line. The lines were so deep. People were waiting for good food. So hopefully we'll get to see that again. But thinking out loud, the amount of money that poured into our community, not just to the event itself, but to the mall, to many of the local businesses around Maplewood. It's great to see all of that happening. So thanks to the staff for all of your hard work, and to the organizers for choosing Maplewood.
Thank you for that report. Councilmember Cave.
I just have one comment on that, too. I want to say thank you, shout out to the Maplewood Mall, because the Asian market was very cognizant about where to park and made sure that people were parking in designated spots, and the Maplewood Mall said, no, you're welcome to park anywhere. We're welcoming everybody, so I thought that was pretty awesome.
Thank you. Our next topic is the Parks and Rec Commission Annual Report, and the presenter, Jason DeMoe. Actually, Audra or Steve, do you want to set this up?
Sure, Mayor and Council. The Park and Recreation Commission is seeking the city's council's approval of their 2025 annual report, which also includes the 2026 goals.
Thank you. Welcome, Jason.
Yeah, hello, thank you for having me. My name is Jason, as you said, current chair of the Parks and Recreation Commission. We had a great 2025. I will briefly walk through the packet that I believe is in your documents there. Some of the highlights are that we did some very serious beginnings of some work on Harvest Park Master Plan. Phase 1 is complete. I think that's been a long time coming, and I'm glad to see it starting to come to fruition. I know we got a bunch of comments about that in the waiting on it, so I'm glad to see that it's actually happening. Our Student Parks and Recreation Commission program is going swimmingly. They're loving it. We're really giving them an opportunity to see how local government works and Parks Commission works. And it sounds like we're going to have a full slate of students for our upcoming year as well. So continuing on with that, I'm happy to do it. New tennis, pickleball, and basketball courts at Pleasant View. And we continue to do well with our community outreach events. Celebrate Summer is very well attended, and I hear only positive comments when I'm there. A lot of people are surprised that the city puts that on for free, but they're extremely grateful, and I'm glad we do it, and I think we should continue to. Another part of our 2025, longtime Parks and Recreation Commissioner Craig Brannon resigned from the commission in August due to illness. He was awarded a resolution of appreciation by the Maplewood City Council on August 25th, 2025 for his 30 years of service. And I think we were extremely blessed to have him as long as we did. And I learned a lot from him when I first got on the Parks Commission. So I was very grateful for everything that I was able to pick up from Craig during the time that I knew him. The task force recommendations update. One of our main goals is to receive regular updates on the implementation of the Nature Center and Programming Task Force recommendations. In 2025, we weighed in on several, including the support for independent groups using the outdoor area, identifying rental options to encourage use, more connection to community education and other partners. And we recommended to staff to identify groups who are looking for space, and we could use that to provide for their needs. And I think we've done that several times throughout the year and continue to do so. Our 2025 goals and accomplishments, I won't read every single one. I'll just kind of give a few highlights. Some of our goals were to continue to look for new ways to engage in community outreach. I think that we have been successful in that. We are present as much as we can be, and I think people recognize that, and we get a lot of good comments, questions, and concerns when they see the parks name tag, so that's good. I love to see people engaged. We've also been getting quite a few emails lately about Coleman and other things, which I love it because engagement means that people care enough to reach out to us, and that's ultimately what we want. We always take a bus tour of our park system, and every time we do it, I learn something that I didn't know, so I'm really grateful that that's happening. And I also visit a park that I maybe haven't been to before, so that's also a good thing. Value of the youth perspective, I mentioned that earlier. We have student PRC members, and they do speak up during meetings. They don't just sit there and listen, so I'm grateful for their perspective. We receive annual updates from the YMCA. We have a good working relationship with them. They've been to our meetings several times, and most recently, we heard about the plan to potentially demolish and rebuild, so that's something that we're definitely keeping an eye on. And we continue to review and evaluate the current and future signage as part of park projects and redevelopment. Accomplishments for 25, we had our student members. We completed the DNR SUFR grant, park tree replacement of 80 trees. We continue to have program offerings through Rev Sports, which I know are really well attended. The annual tree sale, I mean, that's always huge for us. Record year for Wakefield Park community building rentals and park systems field permits issued. I think it's a real testament to how beautiful Wakefield is. The fact that it's consistently sold out pretty much any time you want to get it. And personally, I think the next move would be to develop another space just as beautiful so we can sell that out too. So hopefully that'll be looking forward to the future. 6th Century College Service projects in parks and preserves, which is good. And then we had restoration projects in partnership with Great River Greening and Friends of the Mississippi at Jims Prairie, Carver, and Applewood Preserves. Some of our 2026 goals. We want to stay informed, review and offer recommendations on park and open space in Maplewood and neighboring communities, review programming task force recommendations and discuss implementations, explore new opportunities to recruit student members, which I think we're on top of, receive annual updates from the YMCA, we're on top of that as well, and review and evaluate signage. That is ongoing. We will again take a bus tour, as we usually do. We will continue to look for new ways to engage in outreach. And new this year, we plan to take a tour of the YMCA, which I don't think we've done in my time on the board, so I'm looking forward to that. Other than that, does anyone have any questions?
That is quite a list of accomplishments and goals.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for all of your hard work on Parks and Rec Commission. Please thank all of them from the council, because what you do really makes a difference. It helps our job to be much easier, because we know that you have vetted so many of these projects. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Sable.
Thanks, Mayor and council members. I'm just going to compliment Jason on the shirt and the name badge and the pin.
Well, thank you for the dollars to be able to purchase
These were intentional things to say that, it's a small token of appreciation that we wanted to put together. So I appreciate that you wear them. I know you wear it when you're out. I've seen you at multiple events.
Correct.
The one comment I was going to make is, as you know, the city pursued a local sales tax request from the legislature. We were not successful. But I do think it is an opportunity to engage the commission and sort of being an ally and understanding what this means and what the benefits of that sales tax would be. So I'm going to look over at Audra and say, please send me an invite for one of the next two commission meetings, and I will be there to start re-energize I don't want to say sales pitch, but some sort of ally building endeavor to make sure that we get this, when we go back to the legislature again, we're successful.
Thank you. Council members, would someone like to make a motion to approve the?
I motion to approve the 2025 Parks and Recreation Commission Annual Report.
Second.
By Cave, seconded by Juniman. The motion to approve the 2025 Parks and Recreation Commission Annual Report. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you again,
Thank you very much.
all that you do.
Look forward to continuing to serve.
Next, we have a report from the Environmental and Natural Resources Commission. And Mr. Love, do you want to kick this off? And I see that we've got Wes Saunders Pierce, who is going to be presenting tonight.
Sure, Mayor and Council. So similar to the last one, the commission is seeking the city's council's approval for their 2025 annual report, which also includes their 2026 goals. So with that, I would turn it over to Wes.
Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Wes Saunders Pierce, and I've been on the Environmental and Natural Resource Commission since November of 2024 and was appointed the chair in the most recent few months. So I'm very delighted to be here to talk about our annual report for 2025. We had a busy year, and one of the things that was really notable is we had 3 wetland buffer variances in 2025. Including one regarding the new Century Ponds. These buffer variance reviews allowed the Environmental and Natural Resource Commission to recommend buffer mitigation strategies. And those are important because it allowed for removal of invasive plants in the buffer in addition to just the baseline requirements. So those 3 wetland buffer variances were a strong point of focus for us during our 2025 year. We also coordinated a variety of education and outreach opportunities. Those were focused on the city's Tree City USA program. So we really delivered strong messaging around that Tree City USA program to a variety of audiences at a variety of events. As well, to complement our 2025 green building and stormwater goals, we had 2 tours that were arranged during 2025. Our group was able to tour Ramsey County's new Environment Center, which was just a fantastic opportunity and really showcased what is being provided to the community and the broader county for environmental recycling and hazardous waste disposal. Our group also had the opportunity to tour the Capital Region Watershed District headquarters, which features a variety of green building techniques as well as stormwater management features. So those are really 2 outstanding opportunities for us. We also were able to hear from and coordinated with Ramsey County on their climate equity action plan. So that was a really enlightening session for us, and we learned a lot, and we're able to share some good ideas and exchange some good concepts. In 2026, we have some very focused goals. In 2026, one of our key goals is going to be the recycling and trash RFP and reviewing those proposals that we get back. So that's been something that our commission has been tracking for quite some time, and it is a significant focus for us this summer and towards the fall. As well, in 2026, a very strong focus will be implementing the climate mitigation plan, which I believe is before you tonight. So we are eagerly awaiting that action from the council on that, and then we will be moving forward to implement those strategies and those tactics that are within that. Finally, for 2026, we will be continuing our education and outreach focus. Our goals for this year are slightly modified from last year. This will include, obviously, the climate action plan that I just mentioned, so that education and outreach will be a big focus for us. And we will be continuing some of our focus on stormwater management and how that impacts our natural resources. So with that, that's our summary of our annual report, and I will stand for any questions that you may have.
Thank you for your service, and please go back and thank the ENR Commission for all of the work that they do. I cannot say enough how much we appreciate our commissions. You make our jobs much easier. It sounds like you had a very productive year, and we really appreciate that. Any questions, council members? Mr. Sable?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Great shirt.
I was tickled when I saw that we both were, I know he laughed, but yeah, it was a nice touch, yeah.
We
It's-
noticed.
It's
We
a great
noticed.
feature, though. I really do appreciate that, having that, so, thank you.
That's great. Councilmember Lee?
I might have missed the memo. I didn't wear mine tonight, so.
Steve
I just,
did.
yeah. I just want to say the climate mitigation plan was awesome. I totally nerded out on it. So great job. There's so much more that we can do to make our, the earth or our community a better place for the next generation. So awesome job.
Well, I appreciate that. I can't take credit for it, but I certainly look forward to helping move that forward. There were a lot of involved commissioners in that climate mitigation plan, and they did a yeoman's work to move that forward, and so thank you for that.
Council members, is there a motion?
The 2025 Environmental and Natural Resources Commission Annual Report.
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Juniman, the motion to approve the 2025 Environmental and Natural Resources Commission's annual report. Is there any further discussion? Councilmember Juniman.
I think I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the Friends of Maplewood Nature because they were mentioned in both of these reports. So we thank them for their continuing interest and motivation.
Thank you for recognizing that. Okay, we've had a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the Washington County Letter of Support for County Highway 18. We know it as Bailey Road for the reconstruction. Mr. Love, this is your topic.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. Washington County is submitting an application to the Metropolitan Council seeking $10 million in federal funding to reconstruct roughly 1.8 miles of County Road 18. So on this map here, let's see here, there we go. This would stretch from I-94 and come down here to Wood Lane Avenue. This blue dash line roughly represents our boundary, so it lies just a little bit south of Maplewood. The purple area here is the Bailey's Nursery, or the former Bailey's Nursery property, and we'll touch on that a little bit here today as well. If awarded, the project is planned for 2031. As I mentioned, this is a key east-west road for the area. The pavement has deteriorated and does need to be rehabilitated. The corridor lacks also continuous pedestrian facilities and does experience operational challenges that affect traffic operations. So the proposed project would improve both the road, but also improve that access and mobility. To touch a little bit on the Bailey's property here, I've got a little bit of a diagram here as well. This is that same purple area. The city of Maplewood is here in green. It's roughly about 80 acres. Newport has roughly about 40, and the remainder is here in the city of Woodbury, roughly, I think, what would that be, 120 or so acres. Right now, the city of Newport is moving forward with the development of this. Did you want to comment on it?
Sure, I'm happy to chime in. Madam Mayor, members of the council, so Newport is a little bit further along, partially because of the environmental aspects they already took into account with the environmental EAW they did. They are looking at a mix, a quick trip, hotel housing. Woodbury, they are not far behind, and they are looking at retail housing, a mix of mixed-use things there as well.
So as you can see here, we share a border with the city of Newport, and there's going to be a roadway built along here as part of Newport's developments. And so in the coming months, you can expect to see a joint powers agreement coming forward, both for the roadways and the utilities that will ultimately serve the city of Maplewood site here. The Woodbury side, this is kind of like their first phase. You notice there's a large chunk up here that doesn't have anything drawn on it. That's a future development. And also should point out that the roadway for Century Avenue is going to kind of cul-de-sac right in this area. But the Washington County is looking at a potential connection up to Carver and Century. That would only happen at a time when this develops up here. So with that, I'm available for any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Love? Okay, then, council members, there is a motion. Would someone like to make it?
I move the Washington County letter of support for County Highway 18, also known as Bailey Road, reconstruction.
Second.
Moved by Juniman, seconded by Lee. The motion is written in our packet. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, we have our consent agenda. Is there a motion for our consent agenda?
Aye.
Consent agenda, item G1 through 5.
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Cave. The motion to approve consent agenda items G1 through 5. Any further discussion? Kathy, or I'm sorry, Councilmember Juniman?
That's okay, that's my name, you can call me that. Now, if you called me Sally, I would be a little upset. I think we should highlight number 4, because I think it's a big deal.
Okay, highlight number 4. And Mr. Sable, I know he is eager to talk about number 2.
I am, thank you.
Okay, so let's start with number 2.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. As I forecasted in the admin update, we are going to have a special meeting to talk about the 2027 budget. While we're accustomed to having council meetings at 7 p.m., you are not obligated to have them at 7 p.m. And I was wondering, since that's the only agenda item, would you want to begin the meeting earlier in the evening, as it is a precious summer evening and it's an extra council meeting? So I wanted to offer that as staff. We'll be here at 7. If you want to stay here at 7, we'll be here after it, but you can start earlier should you want to. And so I was going to gauge the collective wisdom of the group to see if there was a desire to earlier start time.
I like the idea of starting earlier
Yes.
because it is a lovely summer night. And,
Yes.
So what are your thoughts, Councilmember Cave?
Of course. Yes, yes.
Councilmember Juniman?
Fine?
Earlier. Councilmember Lee?
I'm all ready.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, so early now, let's be a
Guess
little more
what?
specific. Do we start at 5:30? Mr. Sable, how long do you think the presentation will be?
Madam Mayor and council members, I would anticipate 90 to 120 minutes.
Okay,
Less than 2 hours.
so council members, anyone want to jump forward and, do we start at 5 or do we start at 6?
Could we do 6, given just work and everything? Would that be all right? Just gives me time to travel, finish up work, and come in.
We can do 6. Is that amenable to everyone? Okay, let's do 6 o'clock.
Thank you.
So we need to actually amend this.
So the recommended action then would be a motion to call a special meeting of the city council for Monday, June 15th at 6 p.m. in the council chambers for the purposes of discussing the 2027 budget.
Okay, so that would be the friendly amendment to that. Okay, and then we highlighted number 4. Ms. Parr, this is yours.
Thank you, Madam Member, Madam Mayor, members of the council. You can tell I'm excited, so sorry. This has been something that in August of '25, the EDA, as you all know, created the Maplewood Economic Development Strategic Plan. A lot went into that. And we were back, I guess, over a month ago, talking about where we're at today in regards to it. And I feel like we've accomplished a lot in a relatively short period of time. However, we know there's so much more we can do in regards to pulling resources together, looking at data, attraction, supporting our existing businesses. We know there's a lot more work to be done. And in our true style, our city manager and myself want to move a lot faster. And we believe that bringing another individual on to help us, many of you have expressed the support of that, and we think that that would be helpful in moving things forward. There was a long list I won't go through all of them, but there was a long list in your report that talks about some of the areas we'd like them to focus their efforts on, where we think we really need to increase our game, so to speak, and we're hoping this person can be helpful in that. Thank you.
Thank you. It is pretty exciting. We really appreciate that. We have a motion, a second, and a friendly amendment. Any further discussion? Okay, then all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Our consent agenda is approved. Thank you. We have no public hearings and no unfinished business. New business, we have our climate mitigation plan. Oh. I'm sorry, what?
I said da-da-da.
Okay, I'm just checking to make sure we're all on the same page on our agenda here. That's good, okay.
Is it a Coke or is it a bubbly?
All right, so our
Plain
climate mitigation plan. Who is starting off? Mr. Love, is it you?
Mayor and council, as you can tell, there is a lot of excitement for this item. There has been a lot of work that has gone into this. Tonight, we're joined by Sean Finwall, our sustainability coordinator, and Ted Redmond, who's co-owner of Pale Blue Dot, and they'll be providing this presentation to you tonight.
Okay. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. So it's exciting to be here. I'm just going to introduce the subject matter. So of course, Maplewood's climate mitigation plan that is before you tonight outlines strategies and actions to reduce community-wide greenhouse gas emissions and guides city efforts towards established reduction goals. So we've been working on this since 2023 when we first kicked this off, did some community outreach, we had a survey, and so it's a real pleasure to be here today after so many years kind of plugging away at this, and with all the support and from our department heads and so forth, so we really appreciate that. But tonight, I am here to introduce Ted Redmond. The City of Maplewood hired Ted Redmond of Pale Blue Dot as our climate and energy consultant. So Ted is here to give you all the details on our climate mitigation plan. Welcome.
Thanks, Sean.
Good evening.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Madam Mayor and members of the council. Did the same thing. So I just have sort of a brief highlight overview presentation for you tonight. I was here, I think it was 2 months ago, where we had a more detailed review of the draft plan, received great input and comments, and I just wanted to give you a sense of kind of what's happened since then and be available for any questions whatsoever. So just as a reminder, the process that we went through in developing the plan was kind of a five-step process. We went through a lot of baseline documentation, sort of contexting information, gathering content. We went through community engagement, a couple of rounds of that. We had a long survey opportunity, community meetings and such. We had a collaborative planning team comprised of 22 volunteers, and they put in a significant amount of work over a long period of time. It was a great group. Once we had sort of a preliminary draft, we went through a very detailed, what I call calibration process, where we had a very detailed review process and engagement with city staff, department heads, and others. So it was all vetted and refined very significantly with a significant amount of input. And then finally, completion phase, which was putting it out there for public viewing and opportunities for input, draft presentation to you all, and also presentations to commissions to receive their feedback as well. So that's what we've been up to the last couple of months. The plan itself has 3 sectors that focus on transportation, land use, buildings and energy, waste management. Those sectors then have a total of 14 strategies or sort of sub-goals, which help us guide towards meeting our overarching climate mitigation goals. Those strategies are then supported by 60 actions and partnership opportunities. And the intention is to implement the plan through a 10-year implementation timeframe, and then potentially the city may have an opportunity to revamp and sort of move on to the next phase of long-term goals, is the intent. The plan itself has a short-term interim goal of reducing citywide greenhouse gas emissions 46% below 2013 levels by 2036, and suggests a long-term goal of achieving net zero emissions by 2050. That long-term goal does align with State of Minnesota goals, Metropolitan Council goals, and Ramsey County goals. That interim goal is in alignment in spirit, but the numbers start getting a little wonky because we're all using different baseline years, and we just cannot use the 2005 baseline year for the city because we don't have data that goes back to that date. But in general, we are in alignment in that interim timeframe as well. In the review process, we did have the review, as I say, presentation and review input with the RNC Commission in March. The draft plan also went in front of the Parks Commission, also in March. And then we had our draft plan review presentation and input from you all at the end of March. We had a public online review and input opportunity that was open for a couple of months, ending on April 1st. We keep track of website hits and so forth, and I can say that we got some pretty good traffic viewing the draft plan. The plan's website that we've had up for a couple of years had 52 hits during that time frame, and then the landing page for the draft plan had 70 hits. And then you can see the breakdown of the individual sections, which added up to 45 hits. So we had some good viewing. We did not actually receive any survey responses, though, but we do know folks were seeing it. And we did get good input through the commission presentations and input opportunities. So what I want to highlight is some of the reviews, the comments that we received that resulted in changes to the plan. And those comments very, very strongly came from the input from the council here, and then also feedback from the commissions. And so highlighting a couple of actions that were added or changed for transportation, we added an action to partner to establish or increase the availability of shared electric mobility options, so like e-car, e-scooters, those sorts of things, with a particular interest in improving the last mile sort of transit connections and helping make sure we've got stronger and stronger mobility options for folks. And then secondly, we added an action to encourage and promote ideas for businesses to support alternative employee commuting. So what can we do? There's a number of different strategies out there. We've got some resources that we can share. What can we do to help promote and encourage businesses helping to encourage their employees engage alternate commuting styles? In the implementation section, we added a couple of actions also. One was an action to establish a coordinated ongoing communication campaign, which would support the educational and promotional needs of the plan, including resident and businesses, what you can do content, which is included in the plan. So the idea of just recognizing that communication and engagement in an ongoing manner in a coordinated way is very important to help get information out into the public in a consistent kind of way. And then secondly, we added an action to collaborate with Ramsey County, other communities, and the Met Council to coordinate climate action implementation and explore joint project opportunities. Recognizing that we now all have plans, they are in alignment. Boy, there must be great opportunities for us to collaborate to say, what projects are you working on? What can we work on together? What resources can we share, et cetera? So looking to instigate that and hopefully harness some engagement from the county and Met Council on collaborative work. So next steps, after plan adoption, staff will develop an annual implementation plans to identify annual priority actions, outline needed resources, identify grant or funding sources, and recommend projects for the CIP for council consideration, kind of in an ongoing annual sort of basis. As we heard earlier, the commission also is excited to engage this, and collaboratively we can help engage and establish a communication campaign supporting the plan. And as we noted, exploring collaborative opportunities with the county and other cities to see what we can do to create some synergy together. And then you can anticipate review and report on progress at regular interval. We're thinking annually at this point. So I'm happy to receive any questions or share any further.
Thank you very much for the report. Yes, we have been waiting for this for a very long time. We appreciate it. Council members, are there any questions for Mr. Redmond? If not, then there is a motion. Would someone like to make it?
I move to adopt the climate mitigation plan.
Second. Moved by Juniman, seconded by Cave. The motion to approve the climate mitigation plan. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much for all of your work.
Great, thank you all for letting me be here.
Councilmember Juniman.
Again, I think I owe some thanks for all the work that went into this. We can start with the consultant who did a wonderful job. Thank you, Ted. And then the team that he referred to of residents and business people who, you might say, hung on for a while so we could get here. And then I'd like to thank Sean, because this didn't happen by accident at the staff level either. And then the staff from the management team who helped support this and give our ideas and give us some feedback. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's like it's presented, this is a living document. It's not going to be sat on a shelf somewhere. We are going to move forward. So thanks to everybody who did the hours of work this took.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Our next agenda item is Kraus-Anderson Professional Services Agreement for a Public Works Facilities Study. Mr. Love, this is your topic.
Yes, Mayor and Council. As you know, Public Work exists to serve the community of Maplewood. Staff has prepared a request for proposals, also called an RFP, to conduct an operations and facility study of the Public Works Department. The study and the preliminary design concepts will reflect current and future trends in equipment and services, and it will be built on our core pillars of exceptional service, a culture that supports and empowers people, and strong relationships. Public Works Department currently operates out of 3 facilities that were built between 1978 and 1988. This includes primarily the Public Works building that is up the hill from City Hall, the Parks Maintenance Garage, which is over by the MCC, and also our Nature Center. For facilities of this age, such a study is very beneficial because many building systems, infrastructure components, layouts are approaching or exceeding their intended service life. So the study results will help identify maintenance needs, modernization opportunities, safety concerns, and capacity issues. Additionally, the study will Additionally, the study will support informed decision-making regarding capital investment and use of public resources. And this will be all while maintaining reliable services to meet the future and current needs of our community. So staff prepared sent out the RFP to 6 architectural firms that have a strong history of performing these type of studies. We did receive 5 responses. They ranged from $15,500 to $37,350. We received 5 back, and we interviewed all 5 firms to learn more about their experience, meet the actual project team, understand their methods, their plans for staff engagement, as well as their general understanding of the RFP. And so based off of all this, Kraus-Anderson was chosen based really on their experience throughout the metro area, their knowledge of public works operations, as well as their understanding of current market construction costs, which is a really important part when you're trying to understand what the future might hold and what it might take to get there. The total cost of their study is $29,500. The funding will be through the building operations budget. If this moves forward, the work will take place over the summer and is expected to wrap up by September of this year. So with that, I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Love? I think it helped all of us that we took that tour not that long ago and took a look at our public works facilities. So we really appreciate that. Council members, would someone like to make that motion?
Motion to approve the professional services agreement with Kraus and Anderson Advisory Services for a Public Works Operational and Facility Study, and direct the mayor and the city manager to sign the agreement. Minor revisions as approved by the city attorney are authorized as needed.
Second.
Moved by Lee, seconded by Juniman. The motion is written in our packet. Is there any further discussion? Being none, all those, Councilmember Juniman. Oh, that was,
When you start looking around, it's not only the community center that need help.
very true. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. There you go. Next on our agenda, we have a conditional use permit for the McCarran's Water Treatment Plant. Ms. Parr, this is your topic.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. So the McCarran's Water Treatment Plant, you've previously seen, there was a CUP approved in 2022 for a multi-year construction project. We anticipate that's going to wrap up at the end of '26. As you all are aware, it's at the 1900 Rice Street location there, as you can see on the overhead. We are talking specifically about the red outlined area you see there, which is a parking lot. This is 24,972 square feet in size overall. The campus is 127 acres, and they are looking to amend the CUP that was previously approved to allow that small sliver area there in the red to remain and to be able to use in the future. Just to remind you a little bit of the background of this site, the future land use is industrial. Zoning is farm residential. We're not asking for any changes to that. No new construction or expansion, and it is specifically related to permitted things within that area, similar to what we saw during construction. As you can see, there it is, right off Roselawn Avenue. It's circled in yellow there, or red, excuse me. They are required to add curb and gutter. They need to meet stormwater requirements and all the other conditions that are outlined in the staff report. They're going to use it specifically for fleet and utility operations. It will not be open to the public. The use is limited to the storage of pickup trucks, vans, trailers, mobile generators, and other operational equipment used intermittently in the regional water system. There will be no routine repair, fueling, maintenance, any processing or anything that will take place in that area. The lot typically will be used 6:30 to 3:30, Monday through Friday. The only other time you'll maybe see something outside of that time frame is if there's an emergency, which they have to have access to a vehicle or something that's in that area. They'll be taking it out or bringing it in. It's a part of that, but very limited when that happens. Screening and landscaping, as is existing for this area, it will remain in place, and additional augmentation as needed there, and is outlined in the report. We had notifications sent to the surrounding properties within 500 feet. We got one applicant, or excuse me, one resident that spoke about landscaping and lighting. Since that time, the applicant has worked to address the concern in regards to lighting in particular, which is when they are done for the day, basically shutting the light off. It's very straightforward. They try to reach out to the resident to communicate that that would be a formal thing that would no longer be on in the evening hours when it wasn't necessary. And we're unable to communicate directly with them. So we'll try to help them do that, but it's a little tricky when they don't have email or phone number that is functioning where they can actually reach out to them. So we'll help find another way to do that. Tonight's recommended motion or action is a motion to approve a resolution for the conditional use permit amendment allowing St. Paul Regional Water Service to convert a temporary parking lot into a permanent parking lot as part of its improvements to the McCarran's Water Treatment Plant. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Cave has a question.
Hi, just a couple questions. Since the lights are going to be off, which, you know, it's a great thing, there's also vehicles in there for security. So what are they planning for security if people, you know, go in there, number one? And also, is there going to be a fence at the entrance to close it off or just preventive?
Madam Mayor, members of the council, thank you for pointing that out. There will be a roller-type gate on the end, and the rest of the site will be secure. It's internally,
Okay.
so there won't be easy access to it externally. You
Okay.
won't pull off Roselawn to get in there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Councilmember Juniman.
Gee, I wonder what she wants to talk about. Tree replacement and landscape. Are they aware that this has to be done?
Madam Mayor, members of the council, they are aware this has to be done, and I kind of anticipated this might be asked. So the question was asked of them, are you aware that you have to do this? And they responded that yes, they are aware that they will need to comply.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Great. Then will someone make that motion?
I motion to approve a resolution for a conditional use permit amendment allowing St. Paul Regional Water Services to convert a temporary parking lot into a permanent parking lot as part of its improvements to the McCarran's Water Treatment Plant at 1900 Rice Street North.
Second.
Moved by Cave, seconded by Juniman. The motion is written in our packet. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much. We're on to the last agenda item for tonight, the St. Paul Police Training Facility located at 2621 Linwood Avenue East. Ms. Parr, this is your topic.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I will, as soon as we have the overhead up, I will direct your attention to it. You have seen this site as well. You saw it about a year ago. This is the St. Paul Police Training Facility at 2621 Linwood Avenue East. The City of St. Paul Police Department is proposing to rebuild the classroom training facility. They want to amend their previously approved CUP in order to allow a reduction in size to the building itself. As you recall, on June 23rd of 2025, the council approved plans for the building, and the CUP was approved. There was also an approval for a variance in regards to the wetland, which we won't be, I'll touch on it this evening, but we won't be revisiting that. It runs with the land, it was previously approved. St. Paul has not begun construction. As I said, they want to reduce the size. 3,196 square feet was the original approved size. They are looking at instead doing 1,224 feet. To move forward with this proposal, they have to have an amended conditional use permit, and they had to have design review amendment as well. As you likely recall, this site is designated for park in the future, and the zoning is farm residential. It's about 7.5 acres, slightly under. It's owned by Ramsey County, and it's at the southwest corner of the former golf course, now to be the Century Ponds development. The City of St. Paul has leased the property since the mid-1960s for the police department to have an outdoor firearm training range and training center. As I mentioned, they're required to have an amended conditional use permit as well as a design review for the new construction at the site. The project has two Manage A wetlands located on the site. You can see those in the red, up in that red box, which is the site we're talking about. The ENR reviewed and recommended approval of the wetland buffer variance on May 19th, 2025. The City Council approved it June 23rd of 2025, and we don't need to address that or review that again this evening. So just know that it's been taken into consideration previously. It should be noted, though, anything conditionally in relation to it in the previous approval needs to be done as a part of this future development if it were to take place, this future new building. The building location remains largely the same. It is the same as 2025. And then the access entrance off of Linwood Avenue. The existing facility uses well and septic infrastructure. That will need to be replaced as a part of this project. And then a storage building, 2 shooting range areas, and we can talk more about those at the end to kind of give you a sense of proximity to other adjacent areas. And then the tactical training area, those will all remain on the site unchanged. The floor plan itself, as you can see in the overhead and was in your packet, it is far reduced from what you saw previously. There is workspace for 5 staff members within the building. You can see it up in the corner there. The armory, the lockers, the kitchenette, and the ADA compliant restrooms are what remain. You can see on the right-hand side, or left, I guess, or depending on how you're, they have, show the new building that's being proposed. And if you like, we have a side-by-side. You can see the old versus the new, if you like as well. They are not built, these buildings are not visible from the adjacent public right-of-way. They are required and will meet all setbacks. It's obviously a smaller building. The roof line is slightly different, but the insulated concrete masonry unit walls, the decorative veneer, pre-finished metal fascia, canopy, gutters, and downspouts. It has a similar design, but it is a smaller version. As you could see in the packet, the planting of 18 trees to replace 18 trees that were removed, and then the removing and treating of invasive species growth, buckthorn, honeysuckle, Japanese knotweed, and reed canary grass, and then replaced with the wetland seed mix, the native plugs, and the prairie seed mix that is required as a part of the previous approvals for the variance. Parking, largely unchanged. It's obviously a smaller building, less demand. It will exceed what's required in relation to providing 10 parking stalls that are shown and 1 accessible stall. The public hearing notice was sent to 40 properties within 500 feet. We did not get any public comment in relation to that. There are a number of memos within your packet in regards to engineering and environmental review, a number of things that are required as a part of this application if it moves forward. May 19th, 2026, the Community Design Review Board reviewed the design and recommended approval. The same evening, the Planning Commission held a public hearing and recommended approval as well. Tonight's recommended motion is to approve a design review amendment resolution for constructing a training facility at 2621 Linwood Avenue East, subject to certain conditions of approval that are outlined in your packet. And motion to approve a conditional use permit amendment resolution for constructing a training facility at 2621 Linwood Avenue East, subject to the conditions, as I said, in your packet. If the City Council amends or rejects the recommended motion, it must state the reasons for that decision based on the standards and required findings outlined in the resolution. The Council must direct staff to draft a resolution reflecting its decision and support findings. Staff will return with that draft resolution for the City Council's consideration at a future meeting. If you have any questions in regards to the packet material or what was approved initially and what it looks like now, we've included those. I believe those are in your packet as well. So if you have any questions about that, you can see what the design comparison is. And then from a distance perspective, I've had a couple of people ask me questions, so we can talk a little bit about how far things are from, if that's helpful. Otherwise, we can come back to if anybody has any questions in relation to it. I know looking at this doesn't mean much to you. I can explain what the big colors.
Could you explain it?
You bet I can. So the red circle is the tactical area. No live rounds take place there. I want to say it's more about paintballs and tactical. I'm getting the nod, so yep, I got that right. The blue area is the handgun shooting area, and the green is the rifle training area. And then, as you can see, we just wanted to give you a sense, because I know the last time we talked about it, there was a lot of questions about how far is it from these things adjacent. So we wanted to be really clear about that. You can see from the park area, it's about 781 feet. And then another area that often people ask about is, what is the closest townhome property line? And that's the one you can see that's 352 feet. And that's going to be from the tactical area, not necessarily a shooting range, but it's still relevant, obviously, so you know what the distance is. Hopefully that's helpful. And with that, we're happy to answer any questions. I know the applicant's here as well.
Thank you. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of discussion about this, but what I'd like to do, council members, we've done this before, just to make sure that we have all of the facts before we actually discuss what our thoughts are. I want to make sure that we've got a base of knowledge. And I know that that's what I'd like to do, is start with the questions, and either questions for Ms. Parr, or would someone from the applicant come up to the microphone as well? Because we're going to have some questions. And once we're done with all of the questions, then what we will do is we will have our discussion concerning the the two requests tonight. Thank you for coming before us tonight. I tried very hard to go out with your mayor and our county commissioner to go out and actually tour the facility. It's not a public place, so I still have never seen it, other than the pictures that we've seen here. But one of the questions that I had, because in looking at the pictures that we have, they look, rather than wetlands, they almost look like ponds or small lakes. It's quite a beautiful area out there. I know the rest of the area surrounding it. But can you give us some information about the need for a new well and septic system, and why is it that you are not trying to connect to St. Paul Regional Water?
I'll do my best to answer your questions. I have some support as well from the
Great.
design side. May it please the council and the mayor, my name is Josh Legault. I'm a commander with the St. Paul Police Department, and I currently supervise our training unit. I've been a police officer with the city for nearly 30 years, and I've been an instructor in use of force training, whether it's hands-on training or firearms training, for almost 28 years. So I'm very familiar with the space and the neighborhood, and I concur, Mayor, it's a beautiful neighborhood, and the range itself is rather unique in many aspects. You asked a number of questions, and I want to make sure that I get them right, so could you help
Sure.
refresh me what you'd like to know?
Explain to me, to the council, the need for a new well and septic system.
Certainly. So I'm afraid to report to the council that our toilets don't work at the facility that we have. There has been for as long as I've been around, there's been a brick building that was established there before I was hired as a police officer, and an adjacent garage where we store equipment and materials. There are two toilet facilities, men's and women's, in that brick building, and they don't work. That's the reason for the septic. As far as the well, really we don't use the water for two reasons. It doesn't drain into the septic well, number one. When I say septic well, I mean just the septic. It doesn't drain adequately into the septic, and the pipes will freeze in the wintertime, and then we have breakages and have to deal with that just because of the age of the building. The concrete blocks that make up the walls are not insulated. There had been some insulation in the ceiling above, but it's just not, it's very, very old, this, the range offices, we would call it. So those would be the reasons why the septic has to be updated. As far as the difference between well and St. Paul Regional Water Services, I would not know anything about that. I can talk about the functionality of the property, how we use the property, frequency, but as to the design specifications and why we would have the permits that we have, that would be outside of my scope.
Does the well provide, or has the well provided potable water?
To my understanding, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what kind of lead mitigation has either St. Paul or Ramsey County done? You've been around for a long time with this. So what kind of lead mitigation has occurred on that piece of property?
Sure. So it's our pattern of practice to collect all expended shell casings that would be made empty with the use of a firearm. You know, I think we are familiar with how those devices work. So we recover those casings from the ground. That's a mitigation action.
That's the brass.
Correct. That's well put. You know what you're talking about. As far as the expended rounds that enter the berm, we do, and we have cleaned that berm from time to time. I'm not aware of any requirements by law or procedure that set timelines based on that, but we have removed dirt, had that lead and the projectiles removed. We have built up the berm over time with materials to ensure that erosion doesn't take the berms down, or the round impacts into the dirt don't create a situation where the berm begins to cave in towards the equipment that's there. On the firing line itself, there's pneumatic targets that will turn and move based on computer programming and instructor desire, and that's part of the training program. We wouldn't want any of that dirt to fall into that space. So we do manage that well. I don't have a firm date on the last time we did a lead mitigation, but there was also a period of time where we weren't at the outdoor range, in part due to the pandemic and other factors. We've now returned to the range with a little more frequency in the year of 2026, and we're open to that conversation.
Would those documents be available to review in terms of cleaning the berms?
When you
Is there documentation?
Are you talking about like a receipt of when we may have
Right,
done
I
that?
mean,
I would have to look. That would be more before my time in assignment to, as commander of the training unit, but like any good city enterprise, we should keep our receipts.
Okay. You know, one of the things I thought about in reading this packet this weekend, you know, our lakes, a number of years ago, our state prohibited what we used to call them sinkers when I used to fish, the lead weights. They're prohibited from being used anymore. Do you have any documentation about any lead testing that has been done out there? Because, I mean, there are two managed, you know, Class A wetlands on the property.
What I can tell you for sure is that none of the rounds are fired in that direction. When you've seen the picture of the range with the tricolor circles, everything is oriented in a northern direction. Towards the south end of that red square is where the range house would be, this brick building I talked about, and then the wetland that I remember being kind of a large red section is to the right. That's to the east, and there's another wetland that's smaller that's just to the west, kind of at the property line. The property line that is owned by Ramsey County and then abuts the piece of property that City of St. Paul purchased many years ago. So there are no rounds directed in that area. As far as testing on the watershed, I don't know if there's anything that you'd have to speak on that. But I can.
Do you have any answers about testing on the watershed? Because we know that lead leaches. That's why, you know, there's been such a focus on lead.
Sure.
Do you have any documentation concerning the testing, either the water or the soil, for lead? I mean, it's been used for 50 years.
Sure.
So I imagine that that's a lot of rounds that have been fired. So do you have that information?
I do not.
Okay, do you know anyone who would have that information?
I'd have to research that for you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so at this point, we don't know if there is a lead contamination issue on the property. We have no way of establishing that, correct?
As I stand here, no. We're using the range as designed and permitted, and so I'm not familiar with any regulation for us to do consistent or regular testing on the property.
Okay. I know one of the things that we've talked about is what's required. Ms. Parr, in terms of statute 87A, it's included actually in the CUP. Can you refresh our memories about the type of requirements that are listed right in the statute that permits a shooting range?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have to pull it up to get the actual language, but it does require that the lead be mitigated. That is a clear requirement of the site, of the property owner, that be done, as well as we have the right to ask to have that testing to be able to understand the situation in regards to the lead. But I have to pull the actual language.
Okay.
It's actually in there as a
I
condition.
know we have some other questions down here. Councilmember Villavicencio, do you have a question for either Ms. Parr or for the commander?
Yes, I have a question. I think this would go to staff. My question was around when the notice was sent out. It was, sorry, I don't have it in front of me, the 40 properties. Were those properties single-family, multifamily? Do you know what?
Madam Mayor, members of the council, the majority of those are going to be single-family where they hit. The D.R. Horton Century Ponds project, there's no one living there, so they wouldn't obviously be notified. There's no one there to notify. So it's beyond the area. So it hits just a limited number just because of the fact that there aren't a lot directly right there.
Thank you for that point, too, because I think I was surprised when I read that there was no comments, because I sure, since I've been elected, have heard comments from the residents in that area nonstop.
Thank you.
And so not seeing any comments is a concern from me. It's surprising. When we think about this criterion, it says.
Can I ask, that's for discussion
Okay,
purposes?
sorry.
If you have questions, Ms. Parr, I think, found it.
No, actually, no, I was going to go back to the 87A, the language.
Okay.
If it's helpful, I can read that.
Sure.
The property must adhere to the Environmental Protection Agency's best practices for lead management at outdoor shooting ranges and the shooting range performance standards outlined in Minnesota statutes 87A. The applicant and property owner will complete an environmental stewardship plan for management of lead bullets at outdoor shooting ranges, and then we had provided a template from the EPA's best practices, and that would be required as a part of this.
Okay, thank
And
you.
it was also part of the previous approval as well.
When we circle back, Councilmember, who was next? Councilmember Cave, do you have questions?
I do have questions, but they're I think you hit everything I wanted. But I'm just going to go over in case there's something. I did have a question about the well and the septic, but because there's water coming in, so I wanted to know whether you were going to do a well again or if you were going to connect to the St. Paul Regional Water.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you. Deb Brandwick with Ortel Architects. The plan right now is to replace the well and septic, and that has been from the get-go when we started this about 2 years ago. And mostly because of, at the time when we started, there was no well and septic, and now it's just a timing issue of, if approved, the city would, we want to be out for bid in a month. And so it's a timing issue for the project.
My question for the well, just so you know, is possible lead contamination. So I would think that's kind of something you're going to have to.
So that would be something, drilling a well is kind of design build, but that would be part of, when they hit water, they need to test it and make sure that it's drinkable.
Okay. And my other one was, I think, Danette, I had a question with the lead mitigation. And I think she went through it because I wanted to make sure it was in the CUP, but you read through, so I think that's there. Is there anyone from Ramsey County here?
There is not, no, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Councilmember Juniman,
They're only the owners. Why would they be here?
any questions for staff or for our presenter?
Well, mine had to do with the lead mitigation as well. So when you read that, did you say something about a report?
There's a management plan that they're required to create and to follow. That's correct.
So we should be able to access that.
There is a plan that would need to, Madam Mayor, members of the council, there is a plan that needs to be created and submitted to us specifically in relation to the site. And then that's what they would, best practices that they would have in place going forward. We don't have a plan submitted at this point in relation to this site specifically.
Questions? Okay, Councilmember Lee, do you have a question?
I do, thank you, Mayor. First question is the current septic and the well, do we know the age of what it is right now? How old are they?
Oh, boy, I do not know the age. I just know that neither of them are functioning currently.
Okay. And then my second question then is, to our Danette, I'm just curious, do we not have a policy? I mean, part of what we're doing is we're trying to build the infrastructure of our city. Do we not have a policy that requires developers who are coming into our city to connect to utilities? I mean, that's just part of the process to modernize infrastructure utility.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Councilmember Lee. It's a great question. We've talked a lot about it. I will actually defer to Mr. Love. He can give you a little bit of background on how we handle this.
Yes, Mayor and Council, so in reviewing the city code as it relates to water, it is silent on a requirement to connect facilities to a water main versus a well. There are requirements for a dwelling, for having 3 to 4 family members, or 3 to 4 families connected. There is a requirement there for that, but not for a facility like this, so it's silent on the need to connect. The water main, is wrapping up completion of construction. I can let you know that out at the Century Ponds. And with the sanitary, right now, the nearest manhole, sanitary sewer manhole to the property, the bottom of it sits about 4 feet above their finished floor. So there would be some challenges with that.
Thank you.
That may be a point for the future, is looking at that. But for right now, since we've got something before us, another question concerning the well. If the well and the septic aren't working, if the well isn't working, what are you doing for water at the site? Because you're using it, I know, because we get notified when St. Paul is going to be using it.
Notifications that we make are via email now. And not to be out of order, but to address the council member's question, we've also we've sent letters to the very same list of people that live within the boundaries designated by the city. The first round of letters, I was surprised we didn't receive much engagement, maybe 4 or 5 people that wanted to become part of our email thread. Then more recently, neighbors were calling and wondering why they weren't being told. I explained to a couple of different neighbors that we'd had sent these letters out, and they were adamant that they checked their mail. And they were adamant that they wouldn't have thrown something like this away because it's important to them. And be that as it may, we sent out a second letter, this time at the bottom, red font, bold letters, important range information. And now our list grew by almost 20 more email addresses. So we've had some success with that. As far as what we're doing right now, we have portable toilets at the outdoor range, which I will say is one way to have facilities available for people from a wellness perspective. It's not a discretionary use like it might be at a park or along a trail somewhere. That's the best we can provide right now for City of St. Paul employees. As far as potable water, we're not running the water because we have nowhere for it to go. And so the city has purchased hand washing sinks, and we carry in 5-gallon containers of water so our officers can wash their hands. The potable nature of the water is more important for cleanliness for the officers. We have requirements that once police officers are handling these tools and either fixing them or using them for training, that they wash their hands immediately with special soap and water. So we carry this water in. Purchased a sink that runs off of a motor, and water in, water out, as you can imagine. Then that water is taken back to the city and disposed of down a drain, just like it would be in any restroom. As far as drinkable water, we've told our officers not to drink out of that sink, and we aren't providing drinking water at this time.
Council members, we've certainly been talking about this, and we've certainly talked to lots of constituents about this. I have to say that I am troubled by the fact that we could have lead contamination on that site, and it could be impacting our watershed. It could also be posing some unsafe conditions for the officers themselves, but also for our residents and anyone else who happens to be in the watershed where the water may be flowing into other lakes and other ponds and other streams there. And I guess I'm uncomfortable with the fact that we don't have documentation about lead mitigation. I kept going back to the fact that, we've banned lead in our state in terms of using in water or near water. And so, council members, I am troubled. I don't feel like I have the information that I need. And so what I am going to do, because we do have in the materials, we've got the opportunity to ask for a 60-day extension for the property owner to prepare an environmental review that includes testing for lead both on the land and the water. That would be one thing that we would expect to come back to us. But also, I'd like to take a look at or staff to receive the documentation about the previous mitigation work that has been done and any other testing that may have been done on the site. It's been used for 50 years, and it is an important connection piece in our community. And so what I'm going to do is, council members, I'd like to hear what you think about that, and then I'm going to make that motion. But I'd like to hear your thoughts about it too, the 60-day extension, where we need to get testing done, we need to get a review, and we need to find out what's happened already. Councilmember Cave.
Question is, the testing done on the water, will it be for if they dig a well too, or is that separate? Is this, you
Mr.
know,
Sable,
just so?
I mean, we want to get as much comprehensive
Yeah.
information and find out, is there any toxic problem there that's been created? So, Mr. Sable, how do we phrase that? Or
Thank
how do we
you.
work that out?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. Councilmember Cave, I don't know how to answer your question specifically, but I will talk for just a moment and an answer may emerge.
Okay.
Ramsey County is ultimately the responsible governmental unit for what is in the ground.
Yeah.
Right? They are the property owner.
Yeah.
The City of St. Paul Police Department, in this case, is the tenant. And so if I understand that there would be well testing as you're drilling a well and you would test that water, but that is the responsibility of the applicant for a future use. That is ultimately, I don't believe, the responsibility of the applicant now. So I think ultimately the request would be to Ramsey County to conduct a test of the water. And I think that would be the cleanest way to do that, because that's that's the obligation of the property owner, not the tenant. And so as I say it out loud, I'm going to look to Ms. Parr and Mr. Love and Mr. Beatty to make sure that I didn't say anything incorrect.
Ms. Parr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I believe that my assessment would be similar. Yep, I concur with that.
And I'm thinking about testing of not only the water, but the land as well, because the lead has been fired into the berms. And we know that lead leaches, which creates huge problems. Councilmember Villavicencio, your light's on.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I was just going to say, one, I agree with you. I think that's the step that we should take next. The other comment I would say, and I don't know if this even would work legally, but is there any way that we can add a friendly amendment to that, saying that we feel that further engagement is something that we would highly recommend? I think letters in this type of situation isn't enough. I think, when we've done lots of community engagement with projects in our city, and sending out a letter is, I don't think that's good enough.
I certainly believe that we need to have engagement, but I don't know what it is that we want. Can we maybe wait for that until we get these? If the council is so inclined to request the property owner to get testing for the land and for the water, and also to provide to our staff the reports about lead mitigation over the years, and also any testing that may have been done. If we get all of that information, I totally agree with you. I think we need to do engagement with what we find out. And I think that might actually direct us on what engagement. We may want to have a community meeting about it. We may want to, I don't know what it may be yet.
Sure.
Are
Yeah,
you
and
okay with that?
Definitely. I
Okay.
think that makes sense. I think I just wanted to make sure that we highlight that that's an important aspect. And then the fact that we have a whole set of area where there will be more residents.
Right.
That we haven't even had the ability to engage.
Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to quickly say too that as an avid waterfowl hunter, I think lead, we're very intentional in shooting the right sort of ammunition out there. So that is a concern that I do also have that I share with the mayor, is the lead leaching into our environment. One other thing, if we can add into some of the components that we're looking for, and I do agree that I want more information to make a more sound decision, and I asked about the age of the septic and the well intentionally because, wells are supposed to, I mean, according to my research, 40 to 50 years for a well to be functional. And if a new one is to be dug, it is either one is fundamentally has failed completely, or there's some contamination that has occurred with the well, therefore a new well is needed. So we can also get the age of the well and the septic and understanding that component of it, I think, and not just the testing the water around the property, but understanding the testing of the well that's on the site, so that we understand why that's no longer functional.
I think that's a good idea. Councilmember Juniman.
What you all said. Doesn't pay to be the last one. Well, since when I originally put my light on, it was all about lead contamination, I think it's been more than discussed. But didn't we say this the last time this came up, that we wanted the lead mitigation?
It was part of the CUP.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
So this isn't really a surprise.
No, I don't believe it should be a surprise. I think the issue comes up with the well and the septic system and the need for that. So I think.
Yes, but we're also talking about groundwater.
Oh, absolutely, we are. Absolutely. So, council members, I think I have a motion I'd like to make. Councilmember Lee, do you have one more comment?
Just a quick follow-up. Earlier you mentioned that water was, you bringing them into on-site right now, 5 gallon at a time or something like that, and once it's been used, then the water gets brought back to the city to dispose of properly, or I just wanted to follow up on that.
Yes, that's my understanding. We aren't, Councilmember, when you talked about the functionality of the well, I'm confident that the water runs through the well. I don't think it's a defunct well. We're not running it because we don't have a septic for it to go. We don't want to have it all over it would be on the floor inside of the range house, as we call it, that brick building, so we're not running the water. As far as the disposal of the water, I would expect that to be not just discarded because it's got soap in it and hand washing, and I'll ensure that that's occurring. It's my understanding as a leader.
Thank you so much.
So then, Mr. Beatty, we're asking for a 60-day extension. How should we phrase that?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, Council, I hear two things. I hear probably the first thing you ought to do is articulate what it is the council wants the applicant to produce in terms of testing and reporting and so forth, and make a motion with regard to that. And then the second thing is to direct staff to have a second, to give ourselves a second 60-day extension on the 60-day rule. We have the right to do that unilaterally, and so staff can simply send a letter extending the current 60 days, which I think expires around the 4th of July, for another 60 days, allowing the applicant to then produce the information that you've asked for in your first motion.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to try this. I never think that editing on the fly is always a great idea, but I will trust that my fellow council members and staff will help us. You've heard our discussion so that we can get these motions correct. Councilmember Cave, one more question.
And who is the applicant?
Pardon me?
And who is the applicant? Because I know it's not the police department, it would be Ramsey County, correct?
I think the applicant's the city of St. Paul, but you might want to include Ramsey County as the property owner.
Okay.
Okay. So this goes to, let's just say that the motion will apply to both of them. That will be included. So the first motion is to request the applicants, including St. Paul and Ramsey County, to provide, environmental review and testing of the land and water on the gun range site, including testing of the well that is presently there. And to provide reports of past lead mitigation and past testing that has been done on the site to the Maplewood City Council. How did I do? Did I miss anything? Mr. Sable, what do you think?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and council members. With regard to your first motion, you said the word well, but you did not also include the word septic. So if you would add the word septic to the first clause And then if I could suggest a third one, which is directing staff to provide notice of a 60-day extension.
That's going to be the second motion, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. I will amend that to include water, or I'm sorry, the well and septic system, that both will be tested, and then the surrounding land and water. Okay.
What was the second part?
Madam Mayor and council members, Councilmember Juniman, the second part of that was to provide reports of past lead mitigation testing
Thank
and
you.
efforts.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone understand the motion?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Abrams, seconded by Cave. The motion, and Andrea, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go back and listen to that. Sorry. Editing on the fly. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. And now I'll make the second motion, is that Mr. Beatty, this is concerning the second 60-day extension.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I would suggest that the motion be something along the lines of direct staff to notify the applicant that we are granting ourselves a second 60 days pursuant to the statute, and we can cite the statute.
Okay. And the applicant being the City of St. Paul and Ramsey County, so that both get notified.
Yes, Madam Mayor, the letter should go specifically to St. Paul, but I think including the county is a good idea and consistent with what we've talked about.
Because we don't also know who has the documentation about any past lead mitigation. We don't know who may have that. Okay.
Madam Mayor, I was just going to mention for clarification that the 60-day review deadline for the decision was July 3rd.
Okay.
The second 60-day basically is September 1st.
Okay,
That's what
so
it extended to.
let us incorporate that the second 60-day extension takes us out to September 1st. Okay, council members, is everyone understanding that particular motion? Okay, so that's the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I heard Juniman first. Moved by Abrams, seconded by Juniman. The motion as made and assisted by Mr. Beatty. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. It's a difficult issue, and we want to make sure that we get this right and all the information that we need in order to make a good decision. And I think that this decision tonight goes along with the fact that, you know, we're one of the few cities, I think, in Ramsey County that just adopted a climate mitigation plan. So our environment is very, very critical to us, and we really pay attention to that. Council members, we don't have anything else on the agenda tonight. And so therefore, I want to thank everybody for their work tonight, and we are adjourned.